Hey there, seekers and shifters. In today's episode, I am talking to my friend Mermaid Chè Monique, and we are in person together, which is super fun. But we are talking all about radical visibility, just showing the fuck up and just doing the thing. So if you want a little bit of a kick in the ass, a little dash of motivation to do the weird shit, you're gonna want to watch this episode. Enjoy my interview with Mermaid Chè Monique. Welcome to Seekers and Shifters, where we talk to the world's foremost experts in personal growth and development and ask them everything we really want to know. Hey there, Seekers and Shifters. It's Michelle, and I am here in person with my very good friend Chè Monique, who, well, I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us what's cool about you.
What's cool about me is I get to hang out with you. But what other people think is cool about me is that I am a professional mermaid. You may have seen me on Netflix's Mer People, on a documentary called Embodied on Apple TV. I also used to produce a burlesque troupe, and I run a company called Society of Fat Mermaids, which is a clothing line and community that celebrates and centers fat folks.
I love all of it, and you are like my most famous friend. So, and the way that this came about actually was that I was into the show Mer People because I love reality TV, like of all kinds, and documentaries and just anything. And so I was watching Mer People, and I actually mentioned Mer People to my good friend Rebecca Rose, who is a mutual friend, and she was like, "I know one of the Mer People. She actually lives here, and actually you guys would be like really good friends, so I should introduce." Did you know this?
Yeah.
And then she was like, "You guys should actually meet," and we all went to Mexican food together, the three of us, and it turns out we are really good friends. We really like each other. It's nice. It's nice. But it just started with me being like a little bit of a stalker, but I didn't stalk you, my friend.
You just knew somebody who knew somebody.
Well, that's my fucking superpower is I know cool people. I know people that know people. And this whole show is about, conversations with cool people, but also very much centered around personal growth and mindset. And you have been doing the coolest mindset stuff with your socials lately. So tell us about using your platform as a magical mermaid to empower other people.
I feel like being a mermaid is especially in the body that I have, right? I'm like a middle-aged, fat, Black lady. I have this body that, and we think of a mermaid, we think of Ariel, who I think still when people think Ariel, they think cartoon Ariel. Maybe it depends on your age. But I mean, even the new live action Ariel is very young. She's a 16-year-old teensy weensy character with an impossible little Disney waist, right? And so I think seeing me as a mermaid is jarring for people. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I feel like for some people it creates excitement, for some people it creates friction, but it definitely creates, I feel just a little room for possibility. And so it's here I am, the last thing you'd expect, or one of the last things you'd expect. And well, we're here, let me just tell you how awesome you are. And that's what I really try to do. I try to swim, have fun, and tell people that they rock.
Absolutely. I love it. And half the time you're doing it underwater, breathing underwater with your eyes open underwater. Y'all, this mermaid shit is not for wusses, man.
It gets pretty deep.
Yeah.
Lots of puns in the Mer-World.
Yeah. It's she's always "Shallow," and we're gonna celebrate. It's so cheesy. I love it. It's the commitment to the bit is so fantastic in the mermaid world. I didn't know that there was a mermaid world until Mer People, so I'm really glad that you got to go on the show. I also would love for you to tell us a little bit about your experience because, I was ignorant of this. I thought, well, once you got on a Netflix show, that was it. You made it, and you're rich, and you're famous, and you were kind of telling me, nah, dude, that was kind of a lot of work, and then...
Right. And I can only say so much, but I
right.
When people tell me I'm famous, or a lot of times people go, wait, are you her? Wait, are you famous? And I'm like, if I'm famous, would you have to ask me if I'm famous? So I say I'm fame-ish.
Fame-ish.
I would say I'm very famous within my little community, right? I definitely am very well known within the Mer-World. Mm-hmm. But documentaries, and pay attention to how many documentaries there are, they're journalism, right? And journalists don't pay their subjects because that changes what's going on. Mm-hmm. Which and there's a whole history of ethics around journalism, and it's do you watch that starving child? Or do you actually help them? But is it more important to get the story out? There's a reason why journalists do not, try to tamper with what's going on. But I am of the opinion, after being in a few documentaries, that documentaries are a good way to get really cool content for really cheap, since it's journalism and you don't need to pay your subjects. And that's documentaries in general. But I too thought, like, once you're on Netflix, like,
that's it.
Like, you know, like it's, you know, everything's just like, and I didn't know what I thought was going to happen per se. But I thought I was going to have like my 15 minutes of fame in that, you know, I could use my like gray matter to like figure out how to extract some sort of financial opportunities from that 15 minutes. And that did not exactly happen. The show came out during the writer strikes. And I think that was just unfortunate timing. And so where a lot of shows come out and, you know, they're on late night TV and this and that, there were like the traditional marketing mechanisms for the shows were not there. And so there was like 15 minutes of a lot of energy, like a lot of people who did see it really excited about it. And that was just it. I mean, you know, sales went up quite a bit, but not a life-changing amount. And I thought there were going to be, I don't know, like just interesting opportunities to pop up. You know, maybe I get to, you know, be somebody's like makeup brand, whatever, face and side, you know, can be like, it can go from, you know, running late to work to diving in under or whatever.
Right. Maybelline, color.
Yes. Maybelline has these like, I actually like, that's the dream deal because they have these lazy, like very high pigment like crayons, and it's so great because I'm the laziest makeup artist. That is one of the like most frequent questions I get is like, what makeup do you use? And I'm like, I really don't want to go on live and let y'all see me finger paint because I do. Like,
well, it's got to be waterproof, right? Like whatever it is.
Waterproof but like it really just comes down to your sealer. Is it sealer?
Setting spray.
Setting spray. Yeah, see, not makeup girly. You're the secret makeup girly.
A little bit. You have a little bit of a background in that from a long time ago that most people don't know about, but you can Google that if you want to.
Much more knowledgeable than me.
I want to know because I was talking earlier about leadership and defining leadership as being somebody who looks and sees and says, this thing that I want doesn't exist. And so instead of saying, oh, this thing I want doesn't exist in this place, so I better go somewhere else, you go, oh, I'd like to create this. And that's kind of what you've done in the mermaid world, especially with the Society of Fat Mermaids. Like you don't see a lot of black mermaids, you don't see a lot of fat mermaids. I mean, I don't see a lot of mermaids, right? Like in that world. And you went in and said, wow, what I want doesn't exist really. And so I'm going to create this. And in fact, I'm not only going to create it for myself, but I'm going to create it for other people, which is really fucking cool.
Thank you.
Tell us about the mindset that you needed to be in to be able to do that. And was that ever hard for you or scary for you?
I've done it before. I'm like really grateful for the era that we live in. And we just have so much access. I mean, look at us. Like we're talking to people probably across the globe, you know?
Totally. This is so global.
And
there's like 10 people watching this, but yeah, like it's global.
Okay. I mean, I sold a handful of calendars, but 3 of them went to Europe. So, you know, like, but, you know, we're just in this, I just feel like almost everything is possible right now. And that just jazzes me. And it's possible, like a lot of things are possible with like fairly low barriers, right? The clothes I sell are print on demand. Like 20 years ago, I couldn't have started a shirt line until I could have a certain amount of inventory and whatnot. And now I just needed to do a certain amount of research, more or less. And so, I don't know, I feel like if there is something you want, like you said, and it doesn't exist, make it. Or do whatever you can to move into that direction. I did similar things in burlesque. And even though I started Chocolate City Burlesque and Cabaret, and we think of like what that did for like Black performance, like really, I was just frustrated with like what local burlesque performance looked like in general, which was just like a lot of dive bars. And just like in general, I felt like there's just like way too talented people getting dressed in closets this big with like the back of the bar staff, like going in and out of it. And I'm like, there's just people are too talented. They deserve to be on a bigger stage. And like, I put on a Black show, but I like hoped that that would like just inspire like the performers in general, like, oh, we could take up bigger stages. We could, you know, and I I guess I kind of have always had that mindset. It's like either it's there or you make it if you have the resources.
You know, you remind me right now of like Elle Woods and Legally Blonde being like, what? Like it's hard? Like
it is, but it also isn't, right? It's like, just do it. Like
for some people this would be terrifying, you realize.
I mean, well, you don't, there's a degree of begin with the end in mind, like a degree of it, but there's also, you just start and let it, and I think I do both. So I think of like with Society of Fat Mermaids, I definitely named it Society of Fat Mermaids. And that definitely opened up a lot of doors for me because I think when I would send those emails, people assumed there were thousands of me. And now there are, but at first it was just one me. I'm
the Society of Fat Mermaid, but we're going to put an S on it.
Exactly. Literally, you know, and so there was a degree of, and like at first it was like I'm selling t-shirts, but like I knew there was going to be a community aspect, but I hadn't gotten that far yet. There's just like, so there was a little intuition, but I was like, we're going to start with these t-shirts. We're going to go on Instagram. We're going to repost cool pictures. Now we're going to get to know and build relationships because we have this amazing technology and we get to build relationships with like this community that I barely knew existed because now I'm just fangirling them online and like posting their pictures and it just goes from there. So I think if 6 years ago was like, okay, what do you think about starting a mermaid community and doing all the things I've done, I'd be like, oh, no, I am not up for that.
Right.
But you just, you know, you have a little inkling of possibility, but you just start with what's right in front of you.
Yeah. Well, it's very entrepreneurial. And, you know, I think that comes more naturally to some people than to others. But like, I've always been a natural entrepreneur. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I see possibility more than I see barriers, which is, you know, good and bad, right? There's like pros and cons to that. Sometimes we need to partner with the kind of people that see like, well, what if this happens and what if that? Like, that's why we have lawyers, y'all. And accountants and like, no shade on those people. But
no, we love those people. We need those people. So important. Yeah. There's a metaphor about kites and strings.
Oh, tell us.
Basically like we're kite people, you know, we're like up in the clouds, we're like ready to go, like, okay, we can catch that bird.
Right.
But you need a string person who's
to be
on
like,
the ground.
What about this?
Yes, to keep you from like crashing and, you know, so I like that metaphor because they both serve a purpose so different. Sometimes there's friction, but like you need, oh gosh, I need my string people.
I am romantically partnered with a string person. I don't know about you, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
I
feel like, I see this too, because I coach business partners a lot. And you'll see this not only in like marriages, but also in business partnerships where there's kind of a kite person and a string person. And they tend to like attract. And sometimes that works really well. Sometimes it doesn't. It kind of depends on the interpersonal dynamic between the people. Yeah.
So if we're just kites, we're just out there.
We're just kiting around. And it's like, if you're a kite, it doesn't have to be that. It can be easy. I think for the string people, they want to hear from us. True. How do we do this? And sometimes when you're naturally a kite, it's hard to talk to a string and say, this is how I'm a kite, because I just am a kite. We're just beating this metaphor to death.
But you're right? That's the Elle Woods. Like, you're like, what? Like, it's hard?
Right.
It's like, that's not practical, tangible advice.
Right.
Practical, tangible advice is, I don't know, like, if you're uncomfortable, it's just do it. Nike's got it, right? That's the practical, tangible advice.
Oh,
and it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's funny. I listened to like Will Smith's audiobook of whatever, it was his like biography or whatever.
Is this before or after
Before.
Okay.
I think it was before.
Okay.
I don't know. My brother told me. I'm pretty sure it was before. He wrote it before, but it like got popular after. Yeah. It was before. And so I have Will Smith's impersonation of Quincy Jones, and he's like, no paralysis through analysis. No paralysis through analysis. And so when I guess like Quincy Jones pitched the like Fresh Prince show, like he's like, I got to think about it. Like, no paralysis through analysis. And I think, you know, there's a degree of, you know, we need to be strings and we need to make some grounded, thought out decisions. But at some point, you know, a lot of things, there's not a bad choice. It's just a choice.
Yeah.
You know, Harvard or Yale, whatever. Like, you know, like,
just your normal everyday choice that most people have, you know, like.
But, you know, like. Right. Most people don't have that choice. But
that's okay. This is how people end up being famous mermaids. It's like you don't end up as a famous mermaid without just being like, sure. Whatever.
But no, like at some point you just make a choice. Like once you like, yes, there's some very obviously wrong choices, you know, and then it's just, I just feel like life's a choose your own adventure, and we don't know what path this choice is going to take. But like once you've established like this could be good and it could have blah, 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 and this could be awesome, just pick which one speaks to you. Yeah, because there's a point at which you just over research. But if you see something and you want it different, like figure out how you can be that change. Like that's how I feel about most things. Yeah. It gets me in trouble, you know, it has me, you know, lead my building social committee and be in charge of a group of grumpy old men, you know, like it gets me in trouble.
I'm sorry, the mental image of you and a bunch of grumpy old men in your building trying to decide like what we should do for the residents to have a party for Christmas or whatever, that just sent me to a whole new place. That was amazing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But seriously, like I wanted to see more social activities in my building. And it amazes me, honestly, just bigger than, or well, smaller, because I think we overlook the micro than, you know, starting this thing or whatever. I'm shocked at how much in general people just are not engaged in their communities, at whatever level. And for me, within my condo, it was like, I really don't want to go to these board of directors meetings. They seem boring. They seem long, but I throw a good party. So like, I'm going to show up how I can show up and take part in the social committee, which only had a handful of volunteers. But I like hear from people and they're like, yeah, only 4 people went to the board meeting. And it's like, these 4 people are making decisions for thousands, well, not thousands, about 1,000 people in the building, but about 1,000 people in the building, you know? And I think a lot of us underestimate how powerful our voice can be because we overestimate how many other people are showing up. Like when you think about all these book bans, a lot of times it really is like 3 or 4 people showing up at a meeting being like, I don't think this book is appropriate for the children.
Right.
And at that point, it is 3 people making a decision for thousands.
And that's who gets heard because
they showed up. So just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah.
What a radical thought.
Nike.
What is like your mission with all of this? Like why? Aside from just that it obviously makes you happy and you enjoy it, like what's the larger mission to the work?
Liberation. Yeah, liberation. I just kind of want to like rattle people's minds, make them aware that liberation and like kindness. Like I'm very sappy. I'm very like kumbaya. Like I believe in the good of most people, and I think a lot of us just get trapped in all these shoulds and expectations and just societal kind of, I'm supposed to do this, I should do that. And we don't really think about our lives or our journeys and or how we even look at the world. You know, a lot of times I have caught myself passing judgment on somebody. And I realized that like the judgment I'm passing is something I heard somebody say 20 years ago, you know, and I just absorbed it. And it's like, oh, people like that, da, da, da. And it's like, is that true? And so like on the surface, it's very silly and superficial. I'm a mermaid, but like the real mission for me is liberation. I just want to like kind of shake things up and help people live a little bit bigger.
I love it. And I think it's so important, especially when it comes to, you know, like there was the body positive movement had a moment.
Right.
It had a moment a couple of years ago and it was like really getting traction and everybody was getting on board. And it feels like there's been a backlash to that. And I don't know if it's like everyone started taking Ozempic or like Lizzo got in trouble or what. Like Lizzo was a champion of it. Then everyone was like, Lizzo sucks. Like, I don't know. But it started to shrink back down. And I feel like I missed that. I was very inspired and encouraged by that. And I don't know. How do you feel about that tide shifting a little bit?
I don't know. It's weird. It's challenging because I think what's hard is that we have like individuals, people's lives, and then we have all these systemic things, right? And like I've had members of the Society of Fat Mermaids say, look, I'm taking one of these GLP shots, GLP-1s, and they like over explain themselves to me because I have this health condition and that health condition. I really think it'll help. And like, I am still like body positive. And it's like, I have no beef. Like what you do with your body is between you, your doctor. Like that's not my ministry. My ministry is, I don't want to live in a world where people just look at me and count me out. And people who look like me, like people will tell me once they like me, they're like, you're not fat. You're just like, you're strong, you're curvy, you're this. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm fat. But the reason you say you're not fat, even though I weigh well over 300 pounds, but the reason you'll tell me that once you decide you like me is we have like baked into fat, we have like ugly, lazy, stupid,
Right.
smelly, like all these other pejorative things that are about not how I look or how much actual fat I have on my body, but baked in is like my character. And we've decided that being fat is a moral failing and that fat people are defective, like, and kind of mentally deficient. And I don't like that. And so I'm here to challenge that system. I'm not here to challenge what you do with your body or how your body looks. But there are a lot of people who are a lot smaller than me who have absorbed all this messaging and, you know, are scared to take a yoga class because they're afraid people are going to look at their butt, or, you know, and it's kind of funny, like the amount of people who troll me and they're like, go exercise. And it's like, yeah. Like,
that's
A,
your
I'm
original
literally
thought.
swimming. B, you guys shame people so much. Like a lot of people in like ever so slightly larger bodies or smaller bodies that jiggle, because bodies jiggle. Like your body's going to jiggle at some point. Like most, not all, but most bodies will jiggle somewhere at some point. Like people do so much shaming of other people that a lot of people just hide and they don't show up. And I've lost my choo-choo train of thought, but that's what I'm here for. Like, it's not about, I want everybody to be this size or that size. And I think what's interesting, I think with these shots that you're asking me, is that now I think for a lot of people, you know, the dream goal weight is accessible, but I think it's also going to be interesting because the issue is capitalism. It's not your body. And so I hope that, you know, when people get their dream bodies, they also get what they think they're going to get out of it. But a lot of times capitalism, what is it? You can never be too skinny or too rich, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like you can be that skinny, but then they're going to be like, well, you should be that skinny, you know, or it's going to be your hair, or it's going to be this. Like it's just part of capitalism controlling us. Is like, there's always the next thing.
There's always a bar to hit, and we got to keep you busy. Yeah, for sure.
And a little bit hating yourself, so you can buy this.
So you'll buy this other stuff, and like I'm finding, and I don't know if I'm getting targeted because of my age now at 43 or whatever, but it's like every other ad is like, do you need hormones? Like, are you getting wrinkled? Are you getting like you're old? Like you need to do something about it. And I'm just like, and I'm scrolling at like 6 a.m. when I just woke up, and I'm, you know, when my brain is super susceptible, and I have to remind myself, like, this is not the time to be ingesting these messages because I don't have the same defenses at 6 a.m. that I have at like noon, right? Yeah. But it's constant. I love this conversation. I was having a conversation earlier with a woman who we were talking about. She's on a weight loss journey. And I'm on a weight loss journey, and I was talking about like, yeah, but I feel self-conscious showing up on social media sometimes, but I'm just like, do it fat. Yes. And she's like, don't say do it fat because then you'll stay fat. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. What I'm trying to work on is being okay with it because it's okay to be fat. Yeah. And that's what I love about you and some of our other friends that are in this movement is it's like, A, I'm going to say fat. It's not a bad word. I'm going to call it fat. Right. And we're going to fucking do it fat. Yeah. And we're going to be here for all the fat people that want to do it fat. And like, I fucking love it.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. Right. And it's like, it's bodies naturally come in all shapes and sizes. Right. We were talking earlier about the whole like friends saying, oh, you're not fat thing. It's like, that's just not fucking helpful. And really whether you're trying to lose weight or you're not trying to lose weight or whatever, just saying like, you're not fat to somebody who's like,
you're so beautiful. Don't say that.
You're not fat, you're beautiful. And you're like, those things are not mutually exclusive at all. Thank you. Like, wow, what the fuck? Like that. But you know, you and I know you know this too. It's like you hear somebody say that and you can immediately say, well, that's their conditioning. Like that doesn't have anything to do with you. That doesn't have anything to do with me. That's just their model of the world. Right. I think where it's hurtful is when you start to realize that that's so many people's model of the world. Right.
Yeah. So in my like day job, I'm a massage therapist.
Oh, great one.
It's been a long time since I've gotten a massage from someone I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did the other day.
Oh.
And all of a sudden I was like, I wonder, and it was a student massage because I did not get that Netflix money I was thinking of. So I was like, I'm trying to like increase the self-care, but like keep the budget smart. And so it was a student massage, and all of a sudden I was starting to think, and these are things that I know stop people in larger bodies or just different bodies from getting massages. It's like, how is this young, thin person perceiving my body? Like all these things that like I very intentionally don't have as part of my practice. Like I don't know that this person doesn't have them as part of their practice, you know? Like are they gonna be like, ew, I had the fattest person? Or like are they gonna be talking about me? Are they gonna be disgusted by me? Like am I gonna be able to feel that and sense that? Like, and it's like, oh, this is why larger body people often don't get all sorts of healthcare, because it's like there's a fear of being judged. And I think it's a valid and real fear, and a legitimate possibility. But it was just interesting because it's like that hadn't come up for me in a while, because due to my line of work, I usually have a friend work on me. And it's like, oh, this is what it's like to just go have a stranger touch your naked body. That's really vulnerable. And like, because I try to be such a safe stranger to touch people's bodies, like I try to be very chill. And so I hope that most of my clients don't feel that way. But yeah, that was a new experience.
Yeah, it's good to put yourself on the other side of stuff, right? Yeah, for sure. So we have been talking about, because you're an amazing massage therapist, by the way. She's the one I go to when I need a massage. If you're in Alexandria, Virginia, we'll just put in a little plug. Alexandria Massage Therapy
Wellness Center. Yes.
Wellness, a very, very safe and inclusive place, which I've always appreciated. And, you know, hopefully the dream is to become a millionaire mermaid.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm sure your massage colleagues will be very sad to lose you, but like the dream is to be the millionaire mermaid. So like, what kind of blocks have you identified in terms of limiting beliefs, mindset blocks that you're working through right now on your way to millionaire mermaid status?
This is a very like loaded question because Michelle has worked with me.
And you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. It just makes interesting.
It's fine.
TV.
You know, it's totally fine. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
So I'm also like a very crunchy, queer, hippie type. And so, you know, in my circles, like we don't like millionaires. Like collectively, it's like rich people are evil, you know, who are we eating first?
You like me.
I love you.
We're nice.
Yeah, you're nice. But it's also interesting because there's such overarching like class politics. Oh my gosh, I had a friend post something the other day, no, actually today, and she was complaining about how much her rent has gone up, but literally in like 20 years. And I'm like, everything's gone up in 20 years.
Right.
Like,
everything's gone up in 2 years.
Right. Like I think you still have a really good deal. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't get behind you on like your landlord is like price gouging you because their taxes have gone up. The maintenance person's gone up. Like everything has gone up in 20 years. But definitely I have this like very like, I'm part of a community of creatives and artsy fartsy people and like radical leftists who are very anti-capitalist, very like, and so there's just like this idea that like rich folks are horrible. And like, I'm sorry, like I don't love billionaires. If there are any of you here, like
if any of you Bezoses are listening,
multiple fingers, I won't give you one because like, you know, kids could be watching. Peace.
It's okay. They're
peace,
not watching.
Peace. Love and light. Love and light. I love everyone. And I do love you too, but like, could you spread the love? But, you know, and I think like that's part of the thing. There's all these like overarching generalizations on so many sides of everything where it's like rich people. And it's like, what are rich people? I've heard such like callous things about like the California fires. And it's like, I don't care how much money you have. Seeing everything you own destroyed is traumatizing.
Yeah.
Do you have more resources to build back? Sure. But is that still not devastating? Absolutely.
Right.
So yes, I have like all these like working class struggle, like community solidarity. I don't even like, I think there are pieces of me that like don't even want to like out earn my peers in a way, even though most of them have a lot more money than me and they just talk a lot. It's
true. Talk a lot of shit.
They do.
And I'll say say I got a little disillusioned with the super progressive queer set that was very much on like a check your privilege kind of stuff, because so many of those people have so much privilege, and it's like you're talking about people who are highly educated. It's like your dad's a fucking dentist or whatever. Like come on. And like I appreciate people who are champions for other people, and it's like if you're somebody who grew up wealthy or middle class and you're a champion for the poor, like fucking amazing, like good. And like there was a lot of kind of over identifying with stuff that maybe wasn't even true in somebody's background that was going on, and it was like almost like a victim Olympics or something. It's like who can be more oppressed, and it's like why right, like why is that glorified? Yeah, so why is like being oppressed glorified? And like it's like when it almost takes the attention away from where it really needs to be, which is on people who are truly marginalized, people who truly are poor, people who are truly like truly need the attention. And we saw these other people kind of flood in. It was almost like, me too, I'm not one of those bad rich people because I also, and it's like, no.
I was listening to something and I wish I'd have saved it. It was so fascinating. But the guy, it was on NPR, but they were talking about like how wealthy the like 99 or the Occupy movement was. Like it was a bunch of
like all the people camping, that were out there. Oh my god,
like playing homeless.
It's like serious. Yeah, because you have to. This is the irony. You have to have so much money to be able to go and like fucking cosplay homeless for 3 months and not work.
And I'm not gonna lie, like that like movement totally fired me up. I was working. I was like, I'm not like leaving my job. I like my job. I was making good money then.
Yeah.
But I was like ordering them pizzas. I was like sending them beanies.
You were sending pizzas to the rich kids.
I was sending pizzas to the rich kids.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's legitimately going on, and it's like when we see the backlash from the right and everybody feels so shocked and bowled over by it, but it's like I can appreciate where working class people are coming from watching shit like that and going like, you guys are so out of touch with fucking reality, like come on. And so now we see this backlash to it, which has created whatever it's creating, where inauguration is on Monday. From the time we're recording, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Also, MLK Day is on Monday and he had a dream.
Oh my god,
a beautiful dream.
The fact that this is happening and everybody that watches this knows that I'm a liberal, and sometimes we have people with other perspectives, and I try to be balanced with it as much as I can, but I'm a liberal. The fact that this is happening on MLK Day, and the fact that they had the Jimmy Carter half-staff flags raised. Did you see this?
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
The flags are flying at half-staff for Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States, who dedicated decades to Habitat for Humanity after he was president and was a wonderful humanitarian, and we can't fucking leave the flags for a month because Trump needs them raised for his inauguration. Anyway, we live in DC. I want to say this too.
Yeah.
Because we live in the DC area. Y'all, DC is a real place. Real people live here. And when y'all come to our city and start fucking like breaking the windows at the Capitol, it's like, that shit's terrifying.
Yeah.
You're like, I feel like most people in most parts of the country, like they don't think of DC as like an actual city where people live and work and have children and like they're in school and we're going about our lives, and like that they can just come and like break shit and that's cool. And it's like, dude, that was so scary. And like, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge next week. Like, I don't even want to be here,
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I'm like, where was I on January 6th? Where my husband was. He was at work, really, really close to the Capitol.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he going to make it home?
Yeah. I was sitting home watching my TV like this, being traumatized by everything I saw.
Somehow, like, my mother, my brother, and I ended up shopping. But my family, we like...
We went shopping on January 6th.
We did. I don't know why. And it was like, we don't live together, like, so I don't know how we all ended up on this like family shopping trip. But I also do know that like my family, like, we're definitely like we're definitely like grief shoppers. We shop our emotions. So like you're asking about like money blockages. Like when my grandmother passed, my mom got like hyper fixated on buying washcloths for like the influx of people who were coming in town. She's like, we're gonna have so many guests. We need more towels and washcloths.
Yeah.
And like we like went and like to like 3 different stores looking for washcloths. So like that might have been part of the energy, or it may have been that like we were already going, but like then they were announcing like all these curfews and it was weird.
Trauma responses are wild. Yeah. Like that's a totally normal trauma response to be like, somebody died, let's go buy washcloth. We got to put your energy into something that's not like feeling
tangible,
the horrible thing that you're
like,
feeling.
Okay, well, we're gonna have guests. Guests need washcloths.
Yeah,
let's go shopping.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other, and like, I mean, understandable, right? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got on like death from mermaiding, but where do you want to go from here?
Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? I'd like to go to an island.
Yes. I am going somewhere warm next week, and I'm so excited because it has been so fucking cold here. And I am going to Cape Town, and in Cape Town it's summer.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like get out my summer clothes and like this weekend and get down there. It's been 15. I've been to Cape Town before. Have you ever been to Cape Town before? Beautiful, amazing. Yeah, it takes a long fucking time to get there. I will be flying for 31 hours.
Okay.
So it's not like a once a quarter trip. And yeah, I'm excited to just be like getting the fuck out of here where it's been snowy and dumped on. And how do you, let me ask you this, because it's like not ideal mermaiding conditions. We just got, for context, we got like probably the biggest snowstorm we've had in years.
Yes, the biggest one we've had, I think, in at least 6 years.
And it was like almost a foot of snow. I took some incredible pictures around my house of just like snow piled up to here and everything. And we were stepping out and like going knee deep in the snow. So like, how does a mermaid navigate this a snowstorm?
Go on my Instagram and find out.
I know, I did see it. I'm teeing it up for you.
Yeah, snow photography, burlesque, and mermaids. Like, for all my like not wearing a lot of clothes hobbies, love taking pictures in the snow, like just collectively. So like mermaid, snowmaid photos are very popular. So did my first one of those with my new tail, and then my tail maker, Mermaid Carriel, was like, so it's really not going for your silicone to go from warm environments to cold environments. So let's stop taking pictures in the snow. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm like, so look, funny. That wasn't on my list, okay? But she's Hawaiian. So like she wouldn't think to like, well, she's not Hawaiian, but she lives in Hawaii. She wouldn't think to like put that on the like tail care list. Like, don't go in the snow. She's like, so I hope it makes it. And I'm like, thanks. She's fine. Her name is Millie.
The tail?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that I was so fascinated about when I was watching Mer People was I was so inspired by this whole industry, right? It's like, I don't even know this thing exists. And I'm looking at this and it's like, okay, there are tail makers and tank makers and like obviously mermaids themselves. But there's this whole little cottage industry. And there's a guy, I can't remember the guy's name, but there was like a guy that got famous for making all the tails.
The Mer Tailor.
The Mer Tailor. Why couldn't I remember that? That was such a good name. Yeah, right. The Mer Tailor. And I was so fucking inspired, not only by the mermaids, but by people like the Mer Tailor, where it's like, really, you can do well doing anything if you like really want to do that thing. Yeah. And I love that as like an entrepreneurial mindset seed. I remember, years back, I went to a concert in the opener. It was at the Anthem here in DC, and the opener was a guy called Trombone Shorty. Do you know about him? He's a trombone rock star. Yeah. And there were like all these people. I'd never heard of him either, but there were all these people that were there to see Trombone Shorty. And it was the same kind of thing. It was like, I never thought there could be a trombone rock star. Like, you don't really think of a trombone as being like the coolest thing, but like if you're the best trombone player and you're the funkiest, coolest trombone player, then you can be a trombone rock star and you can be a mermaid and you can be a Mer Tailor. And it's like, I think a lot of people, when they go into business, they're looking at, okay, what are these normal things that other people do? And I could do one of them. Right. And I love people like you who are like, fuck that. I'm not like trying to start, you could start like a marketing agency and do really well. Like, you know a lot about Instagram, et cetera. But you're not like, oh, I'm going to start a marketing agency and make a lot of money. You're like, I'm going to do it as a fucking mermaid. What kind of crazy motherfucker do you have to be to be like, I'm doing this the hard way?
That has always been my choice. I don't know why. Like, I've always felt like if life has multiple choices, I'm always like, none of the above. And honestly, like, if I could talk to my younger self, I would be like, maybe do a couple things the easy way. Maybe do follow the beaten path. Maybe there's a reason they beat that path. directly to where you want to go. Why are you doing that?
It's like the worst part of getting older is realizing that the old people were right about some of the shit. And you're like, oh, I see where the old people were coming from. All that shit I rebelled against. Like,
right. I have a friend. We've been friends since third grade. We went to high school together, like all the things. And, she did what the adults told her to, and she got the good government job, and she's never in the country. I'm like, I don't understand how you allegedly have a full-time job and I cannot keep up with your travel schedule, your vacation travel schedule, your personal vacation travel schedule. I'm like, they didn't tell me this was an option.
Why didn't I do that?
Right? Why?
Because you had to show up as you and be this inspiring figure for all of these people, and you have a huge following, at least by my standards. You're not, it's not by Kardashian standards, but by Michelle's standards, you have a huge following. And all of these people are watching you, and you are inspiring all of these people. And it's amazing.
It's pretty cool. It is.
That's what happens when you beat your own path, man.
Yeah. But I could use a couple more beach vacations.
So support mermaids.
Yes.
And especially this one.
But everything I say that I'm going to give you for signing up for my Patreon, I'm not, because I'm about to revamp it. Because the way my executive function doesn't function, you're just going to get what you get when you get it. But you should support me because I'm awesome. Anyway.
Where can they find you if they want to support you?
Patreon.com/Mermaid Chè Monique or Facebook. I'm everywhere as Mermaid Chè Monique, including mermaidchemonique.com. Not everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok while we still have it. We'll talk about TikTok in a minute. TikTok's where my following's huge. I have 400,000 followers on TikTok.
So we're going to move somewhere else. It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Only it were so easy. YouTube, because that's where I'm trying to invest my time. Mm-hmm. Instagram, Threads, I guess, Facebook, Mermaid Chè Monique, and also Society of Fat Mermaids is in all those places as well. You can get cool mermaid swag, which I'm not wearing, which was weird.
You'll have to duck.
Yeah, but
cool.
Yeah, but I usually if I'm doing an interview, I wear some of my own clothing, and I'm not. This is from Helena the Mermaid. She's so awesome. She is a advocate for Charcot-Marie tooth, which I believe is a degenerative disease. And so she started mermaiding, looking for a Halloween costume she could that was wheelchair friendly. And then kind of mermaiding took over her life. But yeah, societyofatmermaids.com has cool size inclusive mermaid stuff. I just moved, and so I don't know where anything I own is.
But she'll get it to you if you want to buy it.
No, I can get it to you. I know where the stuff to get to you is, but in terms of let me show up and actually wear my own merch, didn't have that much together.
I didn't expect you to hop in here in a tail you're doing.
No, but just a little Society of Fat Mermaids t-shirt. I have one with me that I'm going to change into because I have to do work, but it's faded. It also is my social distancing shirt.
Oh
and I'm
God, here they go.
Yeah, but we're not doing that.
We're not
as much anymore.
We're real close.
Yeah. So it's that doesn't seem like the thing to wear. But yeah, mermaidchemonique.com, societyofatmermaids.com, wherever you want to find us.
All those links will be in the show notes. Please go find and support Mermaid Chè Monique, Society of Fat Mermaids, and all of our mer friends because they are doing a lot of hard work to really show up and inspire people and be cool. Thank you so much for being here. This has been really amazing. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you.
And it's cool to be in person. And now we are going to go to dinner. So thank you to everybody watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.